Good day and welcome to The State. On the show, we probe the issues and dig the solutions. We're glad you could join us. Thank you for always choosing us. My name is Gabriel Nii Otu Ankrah. More details soon.
Yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝗟𝗩𝗙 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies, and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝗟𝗙𝗙 Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates Bus Stop, opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544 27 9525 or 0545 622 672 or 0302 237557. 𝗟𝗙𝗙 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Welcome back. Let us settle for the blue briefs. If you join us for the first time, what we do on this segment is to give you a sneak peek into the topic for discussion for the day, or the executive summary of the subject matter that we are looking at today. We're looking at consumer protection. Consumer protection. And consumer protection refers to laws, regulations, and policies that are designed to safeguard the interest of the consumer when purchasing goods or services. It has certain key aspects. Consumer protection has certain key aspects that you have to look at when you are doing the purchase of that particular service or product. One is the right to safety. Right to safety. You need to be protected from hazardous products or services, something that will not harm your health, that will not pose a risk. Also, there is the right to information. There should be that right. Every information on the product and the service that is being rendered to you, you have that right to know. you must know. There is also the right to, should we say, conflict resolution, the right to you having compensation in the event of faulty products or services. So there should be a mechanism to handle disputes. So anytime we talk consumer rights or consumer protection, that is what we are looking at. Right to safety, right to information, right to conflict resolution or mechanism to make sure that you are paid compensation when you are given a faulty product or faulty service. Then there is the consumer protection in the transport sector. And it is very crucial. Consumer protection in the transport sector is very crucial to ensure that passengers and users of transportation services are treated fairly and safely. It is very important that they are treated fairly and safely. Yes, the right to choose. The consumer has the right to choose. The right to redress. That's where I mentioned the right to have a mechanism to make sure that compensations are paid. So the Ghanaian cedi has performed strongly against major currencies in recent time, and this has necessitated consumers calling for its attendant correspondence to the prices of goods and services on the market, that they should be reduced. Appreciation of cedi, it goes without saying that it must reflect in the prices. The transport sector I mentioned have consumers in this sector have issues, particularly when the cedi has appreciated, and they are calling for actions to be taken. It is crucial that in the transport sector, users of transportation services are treated fairly and safely. It is very crucial. That is how come the calls are coming for them to be treated. So transportation consumers also have rights. Just like generally we mentioned the consumer protection rights earlier on. The same when it's cascaded down has its ramifications with the transport sector. So in that one there should be the accurate information, the right to accurate information about transportation services, prices, and terms and conditions. When you're going to board a trotro, there are certain information. Sometimes you sit in and the mates have packed some things into the car, the seat belts are faulty and all that. Unlike air travel where you are told to fasten your seatbelt and you are educated. So you have that right to information. Then you have the right to fair pricing. This is where the call is coming at this material moment. Fair pricing. The right to fair and transparent pricing without hidden charges or conditions. It is very important. That is how come the conversation is going today. Then also the right to have complaints handled promptly and fairly. Those who use commercial means of transport, that's why maybe they'll tell you, go and see the station master, go and see. So handling redress is very, very important. Drivers in Ghana, some, let me be fair, some have defied a directive from their mother union, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, to reduce transportation fares by 15%. Because of the reduction in fuel prices. They have defied, and if you have followed the media recently, at the Nkrumah Circle, a driver had returned the passengers back to the station, the spot he picked them, because he wants to charge the old fare. Some have defied it. And consumer advocacy group, 𝗟𝗓𝗡 International, 𝗟𝗓𝗡 International is demanding government intervention in ensuring that consumers or people who use commercial means of vehicles get fair share of the prices that has been reduced on petrol. Let's pay the right 15% must be applied. And 𝗟𝗓𝗡 International is saying that refusal by some of those commercial drivers to reduce or comply with the 15% reduction called for by the GPRTU is exploitative and must be punished. So this NGO is calling for this to be done to those who are defying the regulation or directive by the GPRTU. So we are saying that following the concerns raised by consumers over the quality of services and goods, we ask on the show today, we ask on the state, who speaks for the Ghanaian consumer? I'll be back.
the distinguished patronage of our founding churches, the Methodist, Presbyterian, Anglican, the Evangelical Presbyterian, the AME Zion, and other affiliate churches of Ghana, the Boys and Girls Brigade Councils of Ghana present the Brigade's Hour. Hallelujah! A stimulating and instructive hour-long, made-for-you TV magazine extravaganza featuring lively archival recap of the history of the Boys and Girls Brigades as international and domestic ecumenical, non-denominational, regimented Christian organizations. Join us on the extensive journey of discovery of the 4 core pillars of all our programs: the physicality of our camping, expedition, and drills, the spiritually uplifting praise, worship, and intensive Bible study for all our boys and girls in our company meetings, highly educational content of our artificial intelligence and robotic contact sessions for all our boys and girls, and our extensive basic and command courses for all our officers. As for the social fit and balance, we rely on recreation, sports, and our youth parliament. Take a cozy front seat and soak in our captivating segments: district, regional, and national reports, denominational reports, international briefs, and the frills and thrills Brigade Drills. Be interactive with us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and win excellent prizes on our monthly GB and BB quiz as you join us on phone. It's the Brigade Hour, showing live on WTV and PCGTV on Wednesdays at these exclusive times. GB, seek, serve, follow Christ. BB, sure and steadfast. Brigade's Hour. Oh, you dozen, Toffee.
Welcome back. This is The State, your favorite Christian current affairs program. Let's say you can proudly say the favorite current affairs program on Christian television. And we always probe the issues and dig the solution. So today we are considering consumer protection. Consumer protection. We looking at how safe are the goods and services that the consumer purchases on the market, and who speaks for the consumer. How protected is the consumer? Obviously, the consumer has certain rights: right to information, right to redress, right to quality of the product and services. So we have the experts to help us to understand this conversation, coming on the back of the calls from commuters, or let's say consumers of transportation services, or those who bought commercial vehicles, calling for the implementation of the 15% reduction on transportation fares as directed by the Ghana Private Transport Union. And some drivers are defying it. Who comes to speak for the consumer? We joined via Zoom by the West Africa Regional Director of 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Ghana International. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Ghana International stands Consumer Unity and Trust Societies. They speak, it's an advocacy group for consumers, helping us to see if the consumer has a voice. The West Africa Regional Director for 𝗟𝗡𝗡 Ghana, Mr. Apia Kusi Adomako, joining us. Sir, welcome to the States.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers of Wesleyan TV in Ghana and also all over the world. And my mom just informed me that she's watching me live from Kumasi, who is also a devoted Wesleyan.
Very well, very well.
Anyway, my umbilical cord was cut and buried in the Methodist church, so I still have my umbilical tied to the Methodist church. Yes.
Regards to Mummy, and keep watching Wesleyan TV and the state. We also have Benjamin Otu Ankrah. He is the General Secretary for the Automobile Dealers Association, or Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. Will come from the automobile dealers' point of view in the wake of the calls from the CATS International. So, gentlemen, good to have you on the show. Let me start with you, Mr. Adomakong. So, first off, just let our viewers know CATS Ghana, or CATS International, where you are the West African director. What do you do, CATS International? Tell us.
Okay, so CATS is a research and a policy think tank. This year marks our 42nd anniversary. We've been in Ghana for the past 12 years, and we work largely to engage in evidence, research, and advocacy policy think tank. And our key areas are in the areas of consumer protection, making sure that the consumers who are in the country are protected. And so I would say that every Ghanaian, our work is to ensure that whether you are consuming electricity, telecom, water, banking, cable TV, whatever, we engage in consumer protection on behalf of consumers. That is number one. We do a lot of work also on economic policy. How do we ensure that government policies work in the interest of the economy, so that businesses will also be able to survive and be more profitable? And also, once businesses are able to survive, consumers are the ultimate beneficiaries. And other things like education, road safety, as well as ensuring a fair and competitive market that also benefit both consumers and also the businesses.
Very well, good to know. And advocacy, it's right, and rightly so. The consumer must have a voice. And I'm sure existing 42 years, you have really done very well for the Ghanaian consumer. Mr. Benjamin Otu Ankrah is the General Secretary for Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. Ben, let me come to you briefly. Tell us about your union. Some might be hearing about your union for the first time.
Okay, I want to say a very big thank you for this great opportunity, and of course, I want to say a special good afternoon going out to yourself and of course your cherished viewers as well. And let me use this opportunity to also extend my sincere gratitude to the President of Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana.
Ben, if you could turn on your camera. Ben, if you could turn on your camera so that viewers can see your face.
I have a bit of challenge with my camera.
That's okay. Please go ahead.
So
yes.
Okay. So I want to also extend a sincere gratitude to the President of Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, Mr. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘, for this great opportunity as well. And when we talk about the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, it's a prominent trade association representing automobile dealers across the country. And like I rightly said, it was founded by Mr. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘, who is also the CEO of 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Motors. So what our mission and our activities is the fact that we advocate for interest for automobile dealers in Ghana, and also we also actively engage in government policy affecting the automobile industry. And we also participate in related importation regulation when it comes to tax, when it comes to imports. We judge our government to also come up with some of the policies that seem to streamline the automotive industry. And also, we also collaborate with other organizations to enhance automobile industry in Ghana. And of course, we have had partnership with some companies like AutoCheck and the rest. So, by and large, Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana is a very big platform where we advocate for members in the automotive industry.
Very well. So, Ben, if I got you right, or if our viewers can understand, are you referring to car dealers, those you own garages, you sell cars and you do checks and auto checks and servicing? Is that the union or industry you belong?
Absolutely. So we are actually into the importation of brand new cars and, of course, used vehicles as well. So that is what we actually do. And we have over 1,000 members across the country who are actively.
So over 1,000 members belong to Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. Very well, very interesting. Let me come to you, Mr. Adomako, CATS International. So you have come out strongly for the consumer, particularly regarding the 𝗟𝗓𝗓 fares, or the 15% that GPRTU has directed its members, and some define that directive. And you have called for government intervention and described it even as exploitative, that must be punished. That is punishable. What is informing your position? Of course, we know there's been reduction, but some have argued that when was the last time in Ghana there were reduction in prices and 𝗟𝗓𝗓 drivers reduce it? It's always forward ever, backwards never.
Okay, once again, good afternoon. I think that we have what we call pricing. How do you price your goods and your services? The fundamental thing that we do whenever we want to price anything is that you first look at the cost of the item that you have bought. How much did it cost you to bring it to your house or your warehouse or your shop? And then you also factor in your profit. This is the fundamental thing that even those who are in kindergarten, whenever they are selling, they will follow this thing. And when you realize that price of items has gone down from where you are purchasing them, you have option. Do you reduce how much you are selling it to the consumers, or you want to what? Take it to yourself. And that is what these drivers, some of them, want to do. The key drivers, the key factor for running a vehicle is fuel. And if fuel prices has gone down up to about 25% since January, the last increment, it is fair and reasonable that you reduce the transportation so that people who rely on public transport will be able to also make some savings, because nobody knows tomorrow. So that if tomorrow the prices goes up again, those people will be able to understand that, oh, when the prices came down, we kind of saw a reduction. But now it has come down and you want to pocket it. I think it's very unfair. You know, every 2 weeks, National Petroleum Authority, NPA, requires the filling stations to adjust their prices. For the past 3 months or so, these prices have been going down every 2 weeks. Sorry. For the past 3 months, prices have been going down every 2 weeks. So what if these OMC say that, look, though what crude oil prices have gone down, the city is appreciating, but we will not reduce it. What will the drivers do? I'm sure that they will decide to stop. They will park their cars and they will not work. But now it has come to you. The fuel companies have reduced their prices. Now it is up to you also to reduce it so that those who rely on you can also get the benefit. But they don't want to reduce the prices. Some of them are saying that it is fuel price has gone down, but not spare parts. This argument is a bit hollow, because how many times do you buy a spare part? You buy a spare part, whether it's a brake pad or your engine. Engine you can use for up to 10 years. Do you buy engine every day? Do you go to Abosokai to buy spare parts every day? Certainly not. And so this kind of culture, this kind of attitude by drivers to deprive consumers of whatever is due them is not fair. Now, these same truck drivers and commercial drivers, they will come home and they will say that, oh, internet data or mobile credit is expensive. They are talking about telecom companies that their things are expensive, but they also don't want to reduce what they are selling. And I think that as a country, we need to be responsible citizens, and not even we need to be responsible citizens, not spectators. And if we choose not to reduce the prices, I think that the government has a lot of measures to undertake. And of course, I mean, as we go on, I'll talk about those measures.
Definitely, your group came up with certain measures that you are proffering. We will look at that. But you've seen the video in social media where a passenger videoed or filmed what transpired at the Nkrumah Circle, that the driver returned them to the spot of pickup because he was demanding the old fare and they wouldn't pay, and he dropped them from the vehicle. In such a situation, where does the passenger go to for redress? In fact, if you were on that road, what would you have done?
Okay, so we have the municipal, district, and metropolitan authorities. They are the agencies that regulate transport at the district and the local level. They give license to you as a truck driver to operate at Kwadaso, or let's say operate in Kasua, or let's say Adenta. And if as a passenger you run into such an issue, the first point of call is go to your MMD, take the car number, or you can even also take it to the police station. But the assemblies are the one that have the licensing powers. So the assembly can say, look, if these drivers are not complying, what do? We can decide to what? Take your name from the list of cars that operate here. And if you don't, and assemblies have got this power, but they have to kind of what? Implement it in a way that it will benefit the consumers. And assemblies must also even create a hotline that if you are a passenger and a driver doesn't want to reduce the fare, just take a picture of the car and the number, and then the law enforcement agencies can also deal with that measure.
Very well, very well. Mr. Yankee, let me come to you. Automobile dealers, have you done something about your pricing on your products that you sell, your vehicles, because of the appreciation of the cedi?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity one more time. And I think yesterday we came up with a press release about how we are going to work on the reduction of the cost of vehicles that we import into the country. And at the moment we have a lot of cars in stock from the I think from previous that is from last year, and we are actually assuring Ghanaians that in the next few months to come, once the dollar or the currency is stabilized, we are going to reduce our prices for all Ghanaians to be able to afford quality and, of course, durable cars here in Ghana from our members across the country. For the past few years, you and I can testify that the cedi's depreciation really affected affected our capital in terms of importing vehicles into the country. And for now, that's the dollar, and of course the cedi is appreciating against the dollar. We can really assure Ghanaians that once we are able to sell the old stock, cars that we've imported within this period are going to see that kind of impact. And I believe that Ghanaians can be able to come to any of our members and of course any of our garages and also get good and quality cars for themselves at the moment.
Very well. Ben, let's look at the safety of the consumer regarding your services that you render and the products or the goods you sell. In your case, vehicles. How do you ensure the safety? Do you only deal in brand new cars, or there are some in Ghanaian parlance they call accident vehicles? When they come, you put them in shape in the assembling and in the process. How do you ensure safety of the consumer?
Okay, so when it comes to safety for consumers, it's one of the biggest priority of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. Once we import cars, we make sure that we import high quality cars. Though we have a bit of used cars that we bring into the country, we also have brand new cars that we also import as well. So when it comes to safety, is the number one factor that we consider when we are bringing a car from, let's say, Europe, or from, let's say, from Dubai, or maybe from the United States of America. So when it comes to safety, it is our number one priority. And we don't just bring any cars into the country. And before we bring the car into the country, we do our due diligence. We check the history of the vehicle from the country of origin, and also once the car also comes into the country, we are able to ensure that everything that is needed for the consumer or for the consumer's safety of using the car becomes very, very paramount. So in this sense, what we do is that we have certified all our members who bring vehicles into the country. You can't just stand up and go to any country and bring any salvage car. Most of the salvage cars affect the chassis of the car, and we don't bring such cars into the country. And also, like I told you, we have standards that we follow in importing cars into the country. So for consumers getting cars from our members across the country, safety is one of our priorities that we consider before bringing the cars.
Very well, Mr. Yankee. So I want to bring you to the level of the conversation now. Most of the people in the transport sector who are complaining, the consumers there, are about the 15%, and it's usually those who do the commercial vehicles, the trotro, the taxi, the Uber and the Bolts and the hailing services. That is where the cry and the call is coming from. So let me move you from the brand new cars and the garage and bring you to the normal one where the discussion will be. Why is I go to Mr. Adomako. So Mr. Adomako, your group is asking government to do what you call three-prong approaches or solutions. Let's take them one after the other. Mr. Apia Kusi Adomako, please unmute, and then let's take them.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first one I said was that the assemblies, district assemblies, metropolitan authorities, and municipals, they are the one who registers commercial cars and give them operating permit. And so if you are a driver and you don't want to comply, they can revoke your permit from you. And those who comply, they will give them a fresh sticker that will be stick in front of the car so that the police can see the stubborn academies from those who are not stubborn. And that means the police can also stop those cars that have not comply on the road. But of course, when you do this measure, it's going to affect passengers because you are reducing the volume of cars on the road. And the number of passengers have still not changed. And so to address that, there's also a short-term solution. Government can work with Ministry of Education and local government. Our universities, they have plenty buses there. Some of them for 2 years, they have not even moved the car. Those buses can be used as a short-term measure to carry passengers from their home to their business centers. That is the second one. And the third one is, so now, once you prevent the stubborn drivers from working, they will start losing income. Most of the drivers and the car owners, they live their life on daily basis because they believe that tomorrow the car will go on road, so they'll bring money. So if you ban them from working for a day or two, they'll begin to feel the heat. In Tree, they say that anoman 12 water. And so those people who don't work, they are going to starve. And after a day or two or three, they will rather think, oh, don't worry now, tell the driver to go and get 15% reduction in brasa, better than nothing. So that will also be able to work. And finally, also, we said that government must not leave public transportation into the hands of commercial drivers alone. When you go to most countries, even in Ghana, when we were kids growing up in Kumasi, we had this OSA, Omni Bus Services Authority, and going to a Doom Kinetia, you just hop on and then you pay and get your cheat. However, we've allowed the OSA to go under the drain. 2001, His Excellency President Kufuor came with the MMT, Metro Mass Transit. MMT was specifically meant to operate in city centers, not for long-haul journey. But some way, somehow, their model was changed, and now MMT started going, it became more like operating like BIP and STC. Certainly not. Metro Mass Transit. Metro Mass Transit is meant for, so when you go abroad, you go to London or you go to any European cities, you see that the city authorities are in charge of the public transportation in the city, because an efficient public transport system allows flow of people to be able to move and go back to work. But here is the case: we don't have any efficient public transport, and so these private transportations, private operators, they are taking over. They are largely unregulated, and they can do whatever they want. For example, when you are let's say Adenta, and you take a trotro to come to Accra Central, the driver loads and get to Medina. He says, "I've stopped," and then he takes money. Then from Medina to, let's say, Tetekwashi, he also takes another money. And then if you are going to Accra, they will also charge you another money. So one journey, instead of paying one fare, they will break it into three, and you end up paying 3 times the fare. All of these things are going on, and I think that government must take full control of the government. Government must take full control of public transportation in the city, because if you leave the public transportation into the hands of the private sector, I think it wouldn't work. You know, we have this Ayalololo, which government of Ghana took close to $95 billion from the World Bank. And we've seen how the Ayalololo has become. You go there, it's become more like a scrapyard.
Yeah.
Almost all the buses are not working. And now some private institutions like schools are now utilizing those buses and hiring them. And it's wrong. So we need to go back and revamp the public transportation systems in Accra, so that everyone, not even Accra, I mean in our big cities.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very well, very well. We'll come back to do a brief interrogation of some of the measures that you have provided. Definitely, Benjamin Yankee will also come in with a stake. But viewers, if you are just joining us, you just heard the West Africa Regional Director of CATS International. It's an advocacy group for consumers, as Mr. Kusi or Mr. Apia Kusi Adomako. He is the West African Director. Also on the line with us, helping us in the conversation, is the General Secretary of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, Mr. Benjamin Owusu Yankee, helping us to understand and appreciate the conversation that is going on in the nation concerning consumer protection, particularly consumer protection in the transport sector regarding the 15% reduction of transport fares that some drivers are not heeding to. When we come back, we're going to look at the way forward. When the consumer has his or her rights infringed on, where does he call or go directly practically for solutions or redress? Stay with us, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Yes, the solution to all your travel needs is here. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services offers you the opportunity to travel to the following countries: Canada, United States of America, Turkey, Dubai, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, Germany, and other European countries, where skilled workers such as nurses, paramedics, nannies, and caregivers, drivers, plumbers, masons, electricians, carpenters, painters, etc. are needed for urgent employment. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services can secure your Schengen visas with work permits. Individuals, organizations, churches, schools can contact us for their ticketing and hotel reservation, car rental services, international tour packages, travel consultation, visa assistance, and study abroad packages to all countries. We are located at Mr. Bates bus stop opposite the Calvary Baptist Church at Abaka, Accra, or contact us on these numbers: 0544 27 9525 or 0545 622 672 or 0302 237557. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Lodge and Travel Services, your destination, our pride.
Welcome back from the break. We are looking at consumer protection today, particularly consumer protection in the transport sector. Users of transportation services, what are their rights and how are their rights protected? Who speaks for the Ghanaian consumer? And we are privileged to have on the show help us understand the conversation. It is an advocacy group that speaks for consumers in Ghana, and they are into research and other areas. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 International, and we are joined on the show as our panel member or panelist, the West Africa Regional Director, Mr. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 Adomakon, helping us with the conversation. They issued, or they came out to speak boldly, asking government to come out with interventions, urgent interventions to compel the commercial drivers, Mr. Adomakon referred to them as stubborn academy, who are refusing to comply with the GPRTU 15% directive to reduce fuel prices because of the appreciation of the cedi, and they preferred certain measures going forward. So that is why we engage in him, and he's giving us further details into how they think that the Ghanaian consumer can be protected. Also, joining us via phone is the General Secretary of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. They are in charge of automobile dealers, those who buy cars and make sure they are either brand new and used cars. Joining us, also telling us what they are doing. In fact, they have come up with assurance that they have some of the vehicles in stock, but in the next few weeks and months, they are sure that if the cedi keeps doing well, they will reduce prices, that we can all go for brand new vehicles and ride in safety and comfort. Gentlemen, welcome back from the break. Benjamin Yankee, let me come back to you briefly. Before we left off, Mr. Adomakon was telling us what his group or his institute is the solutions they are giving. What is your take on the way the consumer, particularly in the transport sector, the trotro drivers, the hailing apps people, how they treat consumers. Anytime there's fuel increases, they increase the prices, but when there's reduction, they don't want to reduce it. How does it come to you, and what do you think can be done? Ben?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity one more time. And I think that with regards to having an operation in the country in terms of, let's say, selling goods and of course offering services, there is no way you can do that without your consumers. And in as much as we look into the transportation sector in Ghana here, this attitude of drivers not complying when it comes to reduction of prices has become too much, and it's about time we all have to speak up to ensure that the right things are being done. Yesterday, I actually boarded a commercial car to La Paz, and similar instance actually happened where passengers were actually expecting that the 50% reduction would actually reflect in the fare that they're going to pay. But honestly, that didn't happen. According to the driver, I say that they haven't received any list from the GPRTU. That is the fare, the new prices for them to comply with. They haven't received it. So once they haven't received it, they are not going to reduce the prices. And I see to it that most of these drivers are just being recalcitrant. They are just finding excuses for not even going to the various stations to collect the fare sheets and apply them. And that is not right. And I think that it's about time, like Mr. Admaku rightly said, government will have to take bold steps when it comes to issues like this. Once fuel prices are up, these commercial drivers don't even wait for the GPRTU to even come up with their prices. They actually add something to it, and that is not fair when it comes to reduction of the fare for consumers, for passengers. And we know that the city is actually performing very well.
Ben,
as a result of that, at least.
Ben, let me just chip in with this and find out from you. The automobile dealers, the automobile dealers who regulate your prices, and because we know that the CD has appreciated in the past few weeks, yet you are holding on. What is the justification for holding on till you clear old stock? And who regulates you how you price your vehicles?
You know, when we import our vehicles into the country, we pay import duties plus other taxes that are being also added up to the duty that are for us to pay. And every car that you bring in has its own specifications that the port authority charges you for that car. So, for example, if let's say I import 2023 Toyota RAV4 into the country, there is a fixed price that the port authority charges for that vehicle, plus other taxes that are being also added up to the duty for the car dealer to pay. And you also have to consider your shipping costs, the cost of the vehicle that you also bought from, let's say, from the United States of America. And you have to put all these things in place to be able to know how much you will sell your car, at least make small margin of profits. You know, these days it's not easy for people to come to the garage to buy cars because of how the currency fluctuation has been. And like we issued a statement. We are highly confident that once the currency or the cedi is really stabilized, we assure Ghanaians that we are going to reduce our prices for them. And also, when it comes to the when it comes to the regulation side
Yes.
of the conversation,
Yes.
So, for example, when you take the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, for example, we have what we do, okay, something that we streamline, so that at the end of the day, when consumers are buying the vehicles, all our members are having the same prices for maybe this particular type of
So
vehicle.
your union determine the pricing of your cars, not any regulator.
Yeah, yes, we determine our pricing.
Very well. Mr. Adamapo.
And we do it reasonably so that it doesn't affect the pockets of the consumer.
The next time I'll make sure I get a consumer to sit next to me so that we ask whether it affects the pocket or not, because you claim you do it reasonably well. Mr. Adamapo, let me come to you. Has CAT International done any research since you are into research? Because the directive was for the 15% reduction to take effect on the 24th of May. Days have passed. Compliance rates, are you able to tell?
The compliance rate has been missed. Some drivers have complied. As I said, the stubborn academies have also not complied. And someone was telling me the other day that, look, I am the car owner and I decide how much I charge. And I said, well, you can do so, but let me take our minds back. Before the LI, the Road Traffic Regulation 2180, there was a particular LI that regulates the transport sector. That law made it an offense for overcharging a passenger on a lorry fare. However, in 2012, when government was revising it, that provision was taken away. So we have made recommendation to government to bring it in. And also, as a passenger, if you take a car and you don't pay, that's also an offense. You can also be arrested by the police. So there's something that the law can do. But in the long run, I think that if we were to have public buses like Ayalololo and then Metro Mass Transit, and they are operating, they are charging, let's say, the new fares, and the stubborn academy don't want to comply, I'm sure that the stubborn academy drivers will lose passengers. And once they begin to feel the heat of the losses, they will start to comply and charge the new. So government, I mean, if I'm government, I'm not being talk. All I need to do is bring more buses into the cities, and then anytime the prices goes down, they also come down and compete with the drivers, and they will also be in a very good competition with you.
If you drive on the streets of Accra lately, I think the electric buses, they ply the Accra Delta route. We see them that they are in full. I want to believe that the pricing is a fair on the pockets of the ordinary passenger. But you admit that the Ayalolo and the Metro Mass Transit had a very big fleet, about a fleet of about 1,000. Then only 140 something, 150, 149 of them were functional at a point in time. They complained about the road network, they complained about maintenance and having vehicle managers, experts to manage their vehicles. And some have said that maybe private partnership will be the way to go, because government has done the Ayalolo, has done the Metro Mass, and it's not working.
Yes, but when you look at Ayalolo is a kind of a private-public partnership. Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTI. But the problem that I have in this country, even for those who are running public transport, the MMT and Ayalolo, government buys these buses for you for almost free. You don't even pay for the cost of the buses. And yet you run these businesses and you run into loss. Meanwhile, commercial truck drivers and VIP, OA, and the other OA buses and the M2 Express, They go and buy the buses abroad and run their businesses and make profit. But for you, you are getting things for free and you are managing it and you are always running into loss. I mean, I don't know whether this is witchcraft or what. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
and I think that that is the problem. The problem lies with the management.
We have just a minute.
Management correct.
We have a minute to go, but let me, on our trotros and some of our commercial vehicles, seat belts are malfunctioning, the cars have leakages and tetanus-ridden metals and some tires and they are smoking. What can the consumer do? What should the consumer do about said vehicles? That can be your concluding remarks, if you may.
I think there was a law that was supposed to have come into effect in 2017 requiring all commercial cars to have seat belts, but which the driver unions resisted. But if you are a passenger and you are going to take a car and realize that there are no seat belts, I mean, you are not under any obligation, compulsion to take the car. I mean, if I'm taking a VIP or any long-haul buses and I don't find a seat belt in the car, I will not sit in the car. So I think we need to educate consumers. So once consumers don't patronize those cars, it will force the owners to get the right safety installations in the car. That is simple approach. So let's educate the consumers first that if a car doesn't have a seat belt, don't take it. Of course, you don't expect a truck from 𝗟𝗓𝗓 to Accra to have a seat belt. Normally, the seat belts are allowed for even overseas. The buses that run in the towns don't have seat belts. Only the long haul bus. Because these are short distance, stop. The speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour. So you don't require a seat belt. But for those buses on the long haul, the sprinters that are running like the speed of light, those cars need to have the seat belt inside.
Very well. Mr. 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Otu Ankrah, your concluding remarks.
Okay, so once again, I think we've had an extensive conversation on the program, and I want to use this opportunity to thank the president of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, Mr. 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Otu, for this great opportunity. With my concluding remarks, I think that government should come in strongly to intervene with this situation as far as the transport reduction is concerned. If not, it might create some kind of chaos in our various stations. I recall about 2 years ago, there was a similar situation where there was a confrontation between a mate and then a passenger, which resulted into the death of a passenger. And we don't want to witness some of these upset situations again. So government should speed up and also fast track how we can be able to rectify some of these challenges with the drivers.
Very well. Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗟𝗡𝗩 Otu Ankrah. He is the General Secretary of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. We also had as our guest the West African Regional Director of CAT International, Accra, Mr. Appiah Kusi Adomako. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for helping us in the discourse and the understanding the conversation. To you, our viewers, thank you very much. Service providers, we've looked at consumer protection, and the customer is your best advertiser. Make sure you treat the customer fair and safe. My name is Gabriel Nii Otu Ankrah. We are back on your screens on Friday. Goodbye.